What's up everybody, Couch Mills here, and in this video we're going to talk about the war between pros and 343 after the ranked update where 343 broke down a lot about ranked. Many pros came out in protest or anger about the changes stated and what they actually are, things that they want included in the game. But I know that all of you have that buddy that you love, but he absolutely sucks. Give him the gift of a GameLeap premium sub so that he can become cracked and you can have a good duo partner, because you never want to have to choose between winning or having fun with your boy. So after 343's MMR breakdown, this was Snipedown's response, where he really disagreed with the way in which the system worked. He said this, quote, "This is my biggest gripe with the MM breakdown. I understand the need for even matches, but creating matches based on the hidden MMR system means the better I do in a losing effort, the worse my future teammates are. Carry hard equals carry even harder the next game. CSR is irrelevant." Now, this is going to be a problem in general, but it's even more of a problem for someone like Snipedown, who is probably hard carrying the majority of his games, if not all of them. There is an end, right? There is a limit to how hard you can carry, and basically the system will just make it so he has to carry even harder and harder and harder, putting him with worse and worse teammates over and over and over again until the teammates he's with are actual goddamn bots. And I know that that could be very freaking frustrating. Now, we broke down his full thoughts about how ranked should be, so I want to read it here and then we're going to talk about it after the fact. So he says this, quote, "For our ranked mode, we have 3/4 of our game types that are objective based, but the only way to rank up is to have a high MMR, which is based on all stats that aren't objective. If you're constantly going for objective trying to win the game, you're likely to die more and have poor MMR, which in turn nets you very small CSR gain on a win, which is all anyone sees and matters when it comes to rank." Now, I'm going to read the rest of what he has to say, but I really want to touch on how important that point is. And I've said this before, past a certain rank, in my personal opinion, you should not be rewarded based on some stat behind the scenes system. And a lot of you come into the comments and say, "No, I love the fact that if I frag out, even if I lose, I can still gain rank." Well, while it's nice to be able to gain rank or not lose rank, even if you don't win, if you performed well, and that's really good for a while, especially if you're trying to flush people to the rank they belong, the problem comes when you are literally disincentivized from playing the actual objective. Like Snipedown really talks about here, if you are someone that is playing oddball, right? But you don't want to ever grab the oddball, you don't want to protect your team that are playing the oddball, all you want to do is wait for people going towards the oddball, bait your team, kill enemies, and get high frags, and you are going to be gaining MMR. You're going to not lose a lot of rank, and it's gonna think you're a far better player just because of your statistics, even though you're never actually trying to win. And that's the problem. There needs to be higher incentives to actually play for the win. And in my personal opinion, once you get to the Onyx rank, maybe even the Diamond rank, there should be a lot more flat rank increase, or nearly flat. Like, let's say you win, you're gonna get plus 20. If you lose, you're gonna get minus 20, but you could maybe have like only a small variation depending on individual performance. Like if you really frag out, maybe you get a little bit more, but it shouldn't be you don't lose anything, and it shouldn't be you gain a fuck ton. It really needs to be more balanced than that, because you need to incentivize people to actually play the objective, actually try to win. And you need to care if you're winning or losing, and you don't need to just completely ignore the objective and just run around and try to frag. Anyways, back to what Snipedown is saying. Quote, "This is a toxic way. Learn how to play the game properly. The goal should be to win. Right now, it's to stat if you want to rank up. The system is essentially against winning if it's trying to force a 50-50 rate every time. It doesn't even matter at that point. As a pro, I'm only doing the objective with high MMR. My low MMR teammates aren't good enough to get the kills necessary to help me complete the objective. Therefore, I'm constantly having to slay as much as possible and rely on my teammates to get the objective done essentially. I could touch 0 objective every single game, never trying to win, but raise my MMR. So when I do win, I gain plus 15, while my teammates gain very little or lose a game, lose 0 CSR, and go next." So he's basically just describing why he would never ever want to just play the objective. If he didn't want to, he would be rewarded in the current system. I'm gonna break this down so everyone understands. This is the most important thing a rank system can do, and it's incentivize people to win. That's it. Incentivize people to win. And this system is not incentivizing people to win enough. It's incentivizing people to do all sorts of other stuff, like run around and frag, but not win. And that makes you care less about losses, care less about wins, not even try to play the objective. And the domino effect there is incredibly frustrating for people that just actually want to win. It's not conducive to what you would actually have to be doing in a freaking tournament. And it's just not very fucking exciting, in my personal opinion. There's no tension. And I think it just makes the game worse. So I would highly suggest a fix. And actually, the 343 community manager responded to this stating, quote, "This is good feedback, Eric. The team is absolutely working on improving this too. We'll constantly be adjusting how certain actions are weighted and potentially even adding new actions for the system to consider when calculating MMR. These weightings can and will fluctuate over time as we analyze what actions are having the most impact on outcomes of the match. I didn't touch on the fact that we'd be improving this in the blog, so good catch. Hope this eases some concern." So the good news is some of these changes are happening. The bad news is we don't know when, and we also don't know what. So yeah, it kind of seems like they want to keep the system where you get different amounts of pluses and minuses, but they're trying to tune it appropriately to encourage people to probably play the objectives more and things like that, slay less. I honestly am curious how they're gonna make it right. I'm curious how they're gonna make it proper. But also, one of the notable pros, Lucid, responded to the 343 ranked post stating, quote, "This response feels so out of touch with the current state of how people feel about the systems. I know myself and others don't have the answers for a perfect fix, but why isn't there more accountability on the need for future change? Rather than explaining away why we're upset," and Spartan responded, "They are absolutely lost." So while there's some positive back and forth dialogue going on, there is also just a lot of tilt and a lot of anger. And it really does feel frustrating when people ask for changes. They say, "Hey, we have a desync problem." And then 343 will drop an entire article explaining people why desync exists in detail instead of an actual legitimate solid solution, and then there's still desync problems. Or people will complain about the rank system. They'll complain that MMR is being tied to casual and ranked, and then they'll drop an entire fucking giant article explaining why that's actually a good thing. It's like, no, maybe we just don't like it. Maybe we just want change. Instead of every single time we want something, it's just, here is why you want it actually. No, you actually do want it. No. You don't know what you want. We know what you want. Here, let me explain it to you. You see how that's kind of fucking annoying? I could see why some pros are upset and annoyed at 343 doing this, and I understand. But to give 343 some credit, they are constantly being presented with some arguments that are not well thought through, or people will argue about a problem without understanding why that problem exists. But then there's these pros that fully understand the problem, fully understand why it exists, and then they just kind of brush it off and just explain away why it's not an actual problem. So anyways, definitely let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. And if you want your bro to be absolutely cracked so you actually have a duo partner, give him the gift of a GameLeap premium sub. Go check it out right now down below.